All right, here we are on page 2, the back of the Trig test review. A lot more word problems, a few more picture drawings, and that's fine. We did that stuff in class. It should not be super difficult to set up. Number 8, the mascot holds the end of a kite string 4 feet above the ground. The string makes an angle of elevation of 38 degrees. So, just there's a mascot somewhere. I'm not going to do any kind of crazy drawing. But he's holding the kite string. So the key here is that from his hand to the ground, it's 4 feet. Then inside of this triangle, you have a 38-degree angle, 55 feet of string, and you want to know the height. So when you find how high it is off the ground, the x you find in the triangle is only going to take you to that point right there. You need to add that extra 4 feet to your answer for x. Otherwise, from 38, it's easy, right? Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent, opposite, and hypotenuse. So again, sine 38 degrees equals x over 55. Opposite over hypotenuse. 55 times sine of 38. Put that in your calculator. You should get 33.9. And then you're going to add the 4 feet for a total answer of 37.9 feet off the ground. Okay? Pretty easy, pretty straightforward stuff. 20-foot ladder is leaning against the house, kind of what we saw before. The base of the ladder is 4 feet away from the house. What angles does the ladder make with the ground? First of all, it should be angle. It doesn't make multiple, just one. So yeah, we're going to use inverse trig. From theta, we have opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. There's a length, there's a length. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So we start off cosine, I know it's theta, that little symbol we talked about the first day, but we'll just call it x, equals the adjacent 4 over the hypotenuse 20. And that is not a negative sign. It was part of the equals is what it was. I just didn't separate them very well. You start there, but to solve it, of course, you do need the -1. That's when the fraction comes over here. And so in your calculator, you hit trig. You use the cosine with the little -1 exponent. That's the inverse. 4 divided by 20 in the fraction. And you should get 78.5 degrees. Okay, pretty easy. 10, observer at the top of a tower spots a rock below a 38-degree angle of depression. The tower is 25 meters high. How far away is the rock? So one of these situations, again, we've talked about, the angle of depression is not inside of the triangle being formed. Again, what I like to do in this situation is, considering the ground and the line of sight are parallel and the hypotenuse is like a transversal, I can put 38 over here because those are alternate interior angles. So from there, I have opposite, I have hypotenuse, I have adjacent, adjacent, opposite. I'm going to be using tan. And the tangent of 38 degrees equals 25 over x, opposite over adjacent. So the first time on the review that we've seen the problem with x on the bottom. Those of you that know the shortcut, you can just jump to it. I get it as long as you write it out. Going through the steps, though, there's 2 parts. Step 1, multiply x to both sides, which gives you, on the left-hand side, x times tangent 38 equals 25. Step 2 is to divide by the tangent of 38 to both sides. That cancels there. And in your calculator, you're going to do 25 divided by the tangent of 38. And if you do that, I believe it's 31.99, the answer I have written down. Let me double check that. But I think it rounds up to 32 is what winds up happening. Yeah, 31.9985, which at that point is fair enough to round to 32 meters. All right. Tree shadow problems. A tree casts a shadow 50 feet long. So shadows are on the ground, 50 feet long. The angle from the ground to the top. So the ground to the top is made there. How high is the tree? So again, once you set it up, from 60, opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. We have opposite, we have adjacent, that's going to be tangent. The tangent of 60 equals the opposite x over the adjacent 50. 50 to both sides, cancel, cancel. 50 times the tangent of 60 equals 86.6. And that is feet. The one problem I thought might confuse some of you if you're not aware of what a chairlift is. Sometimes when you go skiing, I've never been, but you see it on TV and stuff. It's the thing you sit on to take you up the hill, so you don't have to trek up, take a couple hours or whatever to walk up a hill and be super tired just to ski back down. But the hypotenuse is like the path of the chairlift, so that's 500 feet. The angle of depression from the top of the hill. So be careful here. There's a line of sight. It's 40 degrees there. I want the height of the hill. So again, that angle of depression is not in the triangle that I'm trying to solve. But again, I'm going to put it in that opposite corner as part of alternate interior angles. That makes now opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. I have a length, I have a variable. So let me move over here. Opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So sine of 40 degrees equals the opposite x over the hypotenuse 500. 500 times sine of 40 equals 321.4 feet. And that's the height of the hill. A ramp slants up at 25-degree angle. The ramp is 10 feet long. How high off the ground does the ramp go? Oh. So ramp on the ground, 25-degree angle. Yes, by the way, that was magic. It did not just redraw itself. I totally stopped time to do that. So 25-degree angle, the ramp is 10 feet long. How high off the ground does it go? Again, pretty straightforward. Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. opposite and hypotenuse. Sine of 25 equals opposite over hypotenuse. 10 times the sine of 25. And that's going to give you 4.2. And last but not least, find the area of the triangle. So again, I don't mind giving you area formulas of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. That can be the base. That can be the height. So for the formula, I'm missing base, but I have height. As far as to find x from the 61 that's opposite, that's adjacent, that's hypotenuse. Obviously, I have those two for information. Opposite and adjacent is tangent. Tangent 61 equals the opposite 24 over adjacent x. The first time on the review, I went through this problem with the 2 steps. Here, I'm going to give you the shortcut, because all that really happens with your 2 steps is the tangent winds up on the bottom of the fraction as a division problem, and the x comes out to the other side. So all you wind up doing is this: 24 divided by the tangent of 61, which is about 13.3. Remember, that's not the answer to the problem. Now you have to set up area is 1/2. Where'd my pen go? Times base times height. And you should get 159.6 feet. Squared. All right. Guys, Trig's not that hard. Look over the review. Hopefully you've watched these videos. Good luck tomorrow. Spoiler alert, turns out I won't be there tomorrow. And if you hear this, you know ahead of time. But you also watched a 12.5-minute video to find out. Good luck. See you on Monday.